Hello, everyone. You're listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. This is the Boy and Girl Show. The Boy and Girl thing, actually. I guess I left thing off there.
That was the boy and girl thing?
Yeah, it's a boy and girl thing. I left the thing off.
That's true. That's true. We're live on Instagram. We're going to be live on TikTok in a little bit. Super excited about that. What's going on with you, Cece? How you been?
Well, I'm pretty good. But how you like the colors? I jazzed it up. The purpley color.
I like everything you got going on. I got to be honest. It's yep.
I know. We're looking good. We're looking tight.
It's really good. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything going on but work. I mean, the travel group, we're meeting. We're going to a Safety Harbor. It's like a place that's here. We're going to listen to music, like a festival
What's
thing.
a Safety Harbor? Music
in the park. It's like water by the water. And so it's a little music in the park type of thing. So we're doing that with the travel group this weekend. I've just been working up a storm. Going to meet the divorce support group Friday night. I do that every first Friday of every month. Been doing that for like 11 years. So we have different people, of course. Yeah, come stream through. Yeah, so just been busy, doing what I love.
Absolutely. I've been crazy busy too myself. There's just so much going on. We were talking a bit about the network, Neil and I. How was Neil? Was Neil's show good? I only got to tune in for a little bit.
Oh, his show was really good. Really good.
Yeah.
It's called The Pub is the show. And he sat there and talked about his life and really all of the mind mind development that he actually went through and then having COVID, and it really made him stop and think about, if not now, when am I going to get on with my life? When am I going to make things happen? When am I going to live the life that I really want to live? And I'm not just existing. It was a really good show. And I hate to say this to my son, if you're listening, I'm going to be sending it to you because I think it's a real wake-up call. I'm older, and I think if I had heard that when I was younger, maybe my path would have taken a different turn, so because you always think you got all this time, right? Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm always just thankful for where I've been and where I'm at right now. I'm in a kind of a growth phase right now. What a season that I'm in right now. Just a lot of challenges, a lot of struggles, but I'll be honest, I've never been more just at peace and happier than where I'm at right now. And I think that, that really just has to do with your mindset and where you've been. And, there's nothing wrong. I think, we talked about this last night, Neil and I, there's nothing wrong with being content and being ambitious at the same time. Right? Like you can be content, be happy, and be ambitious. Before we get going on what's going on in my life, let's actually properly introduce the show. You are watching the Going Bold Network, which is part of WGSN's Going Solo Network. Tonight, we are going to talk about ghosting, this is something that's near and dear to my heart. If you're watching on Instagram, you're going to watch for the next 10 minutes, and then you can join us on TikTok, or you can join us on the show. As you know, I'm sharing all of the platforms on Facebook and that kind of stuff. But I'll be honest, this topic kind of threw me for a loop because lately I've been really at ease. I've been really at peace with myself.
Well, wait, before we start, let's tell everybody who you are. Who are you?
Who am I? That's a good point.
Who are you?
So, my name's Dr. Christopher Salute. Somebody criticized me the other day, like, why do you have to say Dr. Christopher Salute? I'm like, yeah, bro, like, I went to 7 years of even
you earned it.
Salute. Yeah, don't, when you're proud of something, you say it. So I'm Dr. Christopher Salute. You're watching the Boy and Girl thing. It's a precursor to the barbershop, so stay tuned. We'll watch the barbershop later. We're going to be talking about solo dates. Tonight's topic is on ghosting. If you're new to the show, I want to thank you for joining. This show is a show where Cece and I join each other. Now, if you're watching on Instagram, you can't see Cece, but you can hear her. And lately, I've been thinking a lot about ghosting, specifically because I'm in an interesting place in my life. As you may or may not know, a lot of controversy surrounding my history and all those things, and they've taken some shots lately. And the result of that is I've decided to step away from academia for a little bit. I moved back into corporate. I'm really struggling right now. I'm in a moment of growth, but I'm very happy. And I think though. in talking about ghosting, this has been the first time, Cece, in a long time that I've been ghosted. If ever. I was ghosted about, I don't know, 2 months ago, and I've been ghosted once or twice since then. I think it has a lot to do with my own, I don't know, the way I'm selling myself into people. You know what I mean? And I think people
You know
feel
what?
that.
I totally, those of you that don't know me, I am, and I'm usually in the one behind the scenes, but I am
Mhm.
Cece Shatz, the doyen of relationships. I do divorce, dating, and I'm a life transition coach. Began this network in 2016, and we're changing lives one talk show at a time. But this is my take on it. I mean, I think ghosting, hallelujah, get it out of the way. If you're not interested, move on, right?
Right, right.
You're not vested, you're not really vested in the person. So
So you're,
what the
you're
heck? They don't. So
that's
what?
something you're.
You're on a site, right? And you talk to them a little bit and then you don't hear from them again?
Well, you know what? That's a good point. Let's first define ghosting, right? So
Yeah,
I'm
let's
going to
define
define
it.
ghosting. I've got it. The practice of ending a personal relationship with someone by suddenly and without explanation withdrawing from all communication. Now, to me, that could be a number of different things. You can go somebody pre-date, you can go somebody after a date, you can go somebody while you're actively in a relationship. I have a lot of female friends, typically because I don't know, I'm very talkative, and women speak 3 times more words than men do. I didn't make that up. I'm not trying to
Not
criticize.
you.
Right, right. And so,
How are you?
so I have a lot of female friends, and so and the industry that I've been in, right? I own the largest plus size media company in the world, which I'm trying to sell, and a lot of my female friends say this is the most, and this I don't have stats on this. This is just what I hear. Ghosting typically occurs after the first sexual encounter. After the first night of intimacy is typically when
Really?
someone.
Yeah. No, see, I don't think so. I think doesn't it just happen online? Like before you talk to them a little bit and then they
It
don't.
depends. It all depends.
Okay, well
We'll get.
let's break it down into each one then, each segment. So that way when we talk about it, people know. So let's talk about online dating or that type of ghosting.
Yeah.
So how do you
Yeah.
feel about that?
Well, it depends on. It really depends on where you're at in the relationship. I've been in situations where I've ghosted. In fact, funny enough, I recently connected with somebody on a dating app, and we had ghosted each other for whatever reason, and they had my number saved, and they were like, "Hey, I had your number saved," and I was like, "All right, cool. Like, that's great. I wonder why it didn't work out." Like, we dropped the conversation, picked up the conversation, seemed to get along. I don't think it was going to go anywhere, but that's fine. At least we had that conversation. So I've done that. A lot of times when it looks like I'm ghosting someone, I'm typically just deleting the app. I'm just like so done with dating. I'm just, I'm ghosting, or maybe I found someone, right? And if I found someone, maybe, I ghost the rest of the folks, because to be honest, I don't have the time, nor do I have the energy to explain to the 5 other people I'm on a dating site with, like, hey, I'm meeting up with someone and I think it's going to go somewhere. But I still have that communication typically. I mean, have you been ghosted before? How does it?
Yeah, I probably ghost more than I've been ghosted.
You do, huh?
Yeah, I mean, but I don't worry about it when it happens to me online. Like if I'm talking to them and then all of a sudden I'm not talking to them, then I just think,
Yeah.
okay, great. I'm glad you're out of my life at the beginning, rather than get involved with you and get vested, and then you do something like this. But the thing, because you're not really vested, you're just like introduction. And for me, ghosting people, I think I do it because I just get busy, and you're talking to a lot of people when you're on these sites. You're talking to a lot of them. You're trying to field them out. You only have so much time in which to do it in. And so sometimes I may not answer someone I'm not really that interested in. So I don't really answer him all that much. And then all of a sudden somebody starts talking to me that I am interested in. And so then I would answer them. And so, yeah, I mean, I just
like a slow ghost.
I do what?
Like you slow ghosting somebody, like slow roasting, slow ghosting. Like, are you just kind of
probably what it is, slow roasting. Yeah, that's probably what it is. So I'm probably naughty when I'm doing that, but yeah, it's it's probably a bad thing. But you just get busy with life, and you can't get on it. So I don't get my feelings hurt when that happens. I just think, okay, well, he's gone, move on to the next one, because he wasn't the right one. So I don't sweat that.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you're right about that. And if you didn't hear it, Cece basically says, and I'll put it in my own words, they're getting out of your way, right? They're getting out of your way so that the right person can come about when they're ghosting you. I don't know. I struggle with that. I think someone can get out of your way and do it in a polite way. Hey, I'm really busy. I don't know if I have time for you. I don't feel the vibe. I don't feel the connection. In today's day and age, though, when people no longer serve you, there seems to be a lot of backlash. When you know the connection's not there, I have experienced people being like, well, they just say hurtful things, right? So maybe people are afraid of that when they ghost, right? You say, hey, I don't think the connection's there, and you might be afraid that somebody's going to say pretty hurtful stuff, so you'd rather just drop that. Is that
well, they haven't really met me first, so they don't know me. So I really don't take any, it doesn't bother me one bit. So if I've been online and just talking online with somebody and they're no longer there, it could be maybe they don't want to pay for the app anymore, or, they've met somebody else or whatever. I really take no offense to it all. That does not bother me at all. But if I go out with them, now, if I've chosen to go out with you, because I don't go out with all of them, first thing I do is I do a phone call. And if I don't like their voice, then I don't go any further. But if I like them and then I say, okay, I'm going to go out with them. If I go out with them and then they ghost me, then I get pissed off then. Right. So, and that's the difference between my feelings don't get hurt. I get pissed off. But yeah, it's like, okay, well, I'm just glad I know who you are now. You showed me who you are.
Right. Now, that's fair. That's totally fair.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to talk a little bit about, just how ghosting takes place. Like what are the ways that we ghost? But here's what I want to do, Cece. I'm going to share this show with TikTok. So what I'd love to do is, can you talk a bit about your experience with ghosting? Have you been ghosted, or when the last time you ghosted somebody was? And I'm gonna exit Instagram and
I don't get ghosted very often. Usually, well, I'm not really on the market anymore. I am dating somebody, but you never know where that's going. But anyhow, I am dating someone and relatively happy. But I don't normally get ghosted, and so we're talking online or whatever, and then he doesn't respond anymore. I don't sweat it. But when I go out with them, and this did happen one time. I went out with somebody a couple times, and he was really heavy on wanted to be intimate, and I didn't feel comfortable with it yet. For some reason, I didn't feel comfortable with yet. He totally ghosted me. Yeah, totally. Okay. And my feelings were a little bit hurt, and I kind of got, I guess I can say it, pissed off. I got mad. About it because I was, but then I thought to myself, you know what? I'm not really vested in him. I don't really have a relationship. I'm trying to build a relationship with him. And if he found that I wasn't the right one, well, I would rather know it now, beforehand. Right. And, so then I don't feel obligated or anything like that to, or my feelings don't really get hurt. So no, I've never really, I guess I'm in a different generation maybe. And I don't know. Men, I think because I'm in a little bit generation, the men are more, or maybe the guys I'm with are more. I think they got to man up. They got to grow some balls, man up a little bit. Pardon?
That's fair. We'll talk about that in a second. So I want to just introduce us on TikTok. Yeah. If you're just joining us on TikTok, you are joining the Going Solo Network, the Going Bold Network. We are talking about ghosting, when it happens, why it happens, what the reasons for it are, if you've been ghosted before. And, feel free to comment, feel free to engage. Like, I want to hear your comments. We'll read them aloud. Like, we'll get them involved. But I'm definitely interested in hearing how people ghost, what the reason for ghosting is. So Cece was just talking about, and I don't know, Cece, I'll push back a little bit. I don't know if it's generational. I think it could be your mindset that Cece doesn't take it personally. You can't see Cece, but you could hear her. She doesn't take it personally when somebody ghosts her. And I'll be honest, I do kind of get a little bent out of shape when somebody ghosts me. It all depends.
And you're a guy too, so maybe I don't. Well, I hear a lot of women don't like it either. So listen. If you guys are listening to us live here on our Facebook page and on YouTube, we would love to hear your comments or anything that you had going on or how you feel. And this is your time to really get it off your chest. If you've been ghosted and you don't like it, you can tell us about it. But I don't get bugged about it. I mean, I was a little bothered with the guy because I thought he was very interesting. I thought we could be something more, right?
Yeah,
and so I was kind of looking. Yeah, I was kind of looking forward to developing something, and then he ghosted me.
So now, if you just joined in, this is the gentleman who ghosted Cece after he found out that Cece wasn't interested in a physically intimate relationship right away, and so that's when he ghosted.
I was definitely interested, but I decided that I would hold off a little bit. There was something about him. There was something about him that I felt, I don't know, I wasn't sure. Yeah.
Well, and your intuition was right, because it sounds like you said you set up a boundary and he ghosted, right? I don't know. I haven't had that happen. So this came about, for anyone who's just joining, this came about most recently. I'm 36 years old. I was just ghosted for the first time about 2 months ago. And since then I was ghosted like 2 other times. And I'm going to be honest.
So what do they do when they ghost you? What do I'm like, how much contact do they give you?
Yeah. So the first time I was ghosted recently, and please, everyone's like, play the violin, right? You've been ghosted the first time 2 months ago. Like, I've been ghosted 1,000 times. I get it. I apologize for the way it's coming off. The first time I was ghosted recently, I had a date, and I've been very, and this is typically how I am. Like, if I connect with someone, I'm like, and I'm also, you need to know this about me. I'm not controlling. I'm a dom. I'm definitely a dom, and I'm definitely I'm assertive. So if I'm going to ask you on a date, I'm going to do it politely eventually, but to set the tone, I'm going to say, Friday night, wear something cute. What are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, that's how I'm going to ask you out on a date. So I asked this person on a date, and that's just, look, do I really mean it like that? No, because we'll have a conversation. I'm like, hey, I'll
maybe that line's not working for you.
It's worked for 30 years. No, I'll tell you what happened. So I went up going out with him late another time. So I say to this person, I said, what are you doing tonight? And I'm also, when I connect with someone, I'm not, and that's just me, I'm not, let's talk for 45 days. It's just not me. Let's go out. I'm cool with going on a date. I'm not a Netflix and chill guy. Let's go out, get to know each other. What's up? Figure out if there's a vibe. If there's not, great. I'm also not, as your guy was, right? I'm not about to, what's the word? I'm not going to discount somebody because they don't want to be intimate. To be quite honest, I'm very selective about who I'm intimate with. I'd rather go on 3-4 dates with you to get to know you, to see what kind of red flags are. I have a lot to disclose, right? I've had a history. I need you to know that before we're intimate, right? Because the last thing I want is somebody to be like, well, he didn't disclose that or whatever, right? And also, because I'm a dominant guy, right? I need to know that we click and we vibe, right? Because the way I engage in intimacy, I'm assertive, I'm firm, right? So we're going to have those discussions, right? I'm not going to just jump into bed and throw you around. Like, we're going to have those conversations. Are we on that page? So anyway, so I said to this girl, we were really connected, and it was super cute, and she looked great, and I said to her, I said, what are you doing tonight? And she said, I'm probably just going home after work. I said, no, that's not going to work. I said, it's First Friday. First Friday in Vegas did I ever tell you about it, Cece?
No.
It's my favorite day of the month. In fact, there's a First Friday this Friday I'm super excited about. Every first Friday of the month, so the first Friday that happens, it's an art festival, music, food, food trucks. There's a DJ, there's a band on one side. There's, artists. I got this great piece of art the other day for like $10. Great folks. And you could just have a great time. You don't have to spend a ton of money. You don't really have to be that intimate with conversation. You can kind of get to know each other slowly. You're waiting online a lot, so there's a lot of time to converse, all that cool stuff. So I said to her, that's not going to work. You're going out tonight. So we're going to go to First Friday. She goes, really? I said, yeah, really. She goes, I'd love to go. I said, here's my number. I said, you message me. We'll figure out logistics later. No rush. I'm just playing it cool, right? So a couple hours go by, she's working, I'm working, whatever. And I said, hey, let's figure this out. I said, parking's kind of a pain in the butt. Let's first I said to her, I said, hey, send me a picture to save you in my phone, because that's what I like to do. Cool. Sends me a picture. I give her a compliment. And then I say,
see, I won't do that. I won't give a guy my picture like that.
Why?
No, I don't. Because he hasn't earned it yet. I'm not going to give him my picture if we don't start having a relationship. I don't want him to be looking at my picture doing some crazy stuff,
You give, first of all, that is presumptuous. I wasn't asking for a picture to do anything nasty.
I know that, but you would be surprised with what happens with those pictures. Nope, you don't get mine until you earn it.
and that's one reason that people ghost, and we'll get into that, is you are lumping this person in with other experiences that you may have had, right? I don't ask for someone's photo. First of all, you're never going to hear me ask for a nude ever. You want to provide that when we are intimate, great, cool. I don't ask for that for a lot of reasons. Number two is, right, Stacy says you can get a picture anywhere, and I can Google you right now and get your picture. But number two is I want, if I'm intentional, right? So I'm going to try to get your picture, not because I want to do something crazy with it. I want to get your picture because I want to set you up on my phone, right? I'm not fielding 30 conversations. I'm fielding a conversation or two. So I'm going to add you to my phone in a way that is intentional. I'm going to put your full name or whatever, I might save you as, if it's Cece, I'm going to save her as, Cece Hot Blonde or whatever, we're talking, it's maybe an inside joke. And then I'm going to put your phone, your face on my phone. So I ask her for a photo. She gives it to me. Everything's cute.
Do you have my picture on your phone? When I call you, does my picture come up?
Let's find out. Okay, hold on.
I'm just kidding you. It probably does not.
No, I don't. I don't have it, and I should.
No, you don't, because I never gave you my picture.
No, but I can Google you. So I say to her, a couple hours later, I say, hey, parking's pretty tough. Let's figure out, do you want me to pick you up? And again, another presumption, right? Because I'm assuming that she's safe. She's going to feel safe enough for me to pick her up. And that may be an issue, right? So I say, I'll pick you up. I forget. She doesn't respond. I think she gives me a thumbs up. Okay, cool. So then as it's getting closer, I'm like, hey, all right, I'm gonna leave in a little bit. Like, what's up? Where do you want me to get you? Deads. Completely deads. Then it's, I'm here, deads. So then finally I was like, all right, whatever. I'll do First Friday by myself. I went and got some tacos. I went and got some food. I had a beer. I smoked. Well, I shouldn't say that. I had a cigar. And so I had a good time. Right. And so, was I a little, I was a little banged up, I was a little like, I enjoyed the idea of this was a very pretty girl. We seemed to vibe. I enjoyed the idea of walking around and getting some food and getting to know her, whatever. So here's the kicker, right? I post some stuff on social media because I do, right? I had a good time. And in the back of my head, I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe she'll see it. Maybe she'll apologize. Maybe I'm so sorry I couldn't make it. Looks like you had a good time. Nothing. Okay, fine. It's maybe 6 days later, and I post something else, like something random, like I'm playing a tabletop game or I'm watching a movie. I forget what it was. All of a sudden she goes, oh my God, that looks like so much fun. I go, okay. And I message back, yeah, it was, or whatever. She's like, yeah, it seems like it's a good time. I go, are we going to ignore the fact that we had a date set up on Friday? Like, that's what I said. And, finally she's like, well, I'm sorry. I was working late. I didn't think you'd be okay with that. And so I didn't message you at all thinking you'd be upset. And I'm like, well, you messaged me now, So we had the conversation. We wound up getting together. It was cool. But I felt very upset. Why? And so I think the reason she ghosted was she was afraid of like a backlash. Like I was going to get angry with her for ghosting. And the reality is that can happen, right? Like if you're watching on TikTok or YouTube or Facebook, tell me about a time in which you've maybe said, hey, this isn't going to work, and somebody just went off on you, right? Does that happen, Cece?
I would have dumped her. Number one, I would have done when she responded like that. I'd give her the thumbs up like she gave you. I mean, I would, I don't mess around like this. I mean, I don't, because it's your feelings, right? And it's your life, and it's also your potential partner. And I don't want a partner like that. I don't want a partner that can just throw me away and think nothing of it. Oh, well, I'm just not going to show up, or I'm just not going to whatever. My philosophy is on ghosting. Tell me now, do it now. Because if this is the kind of person you are, I don't want you in my life. I don't want you there. And so I wouldn't have given her the time of day. If it was me, I would have just said, no, I move on. Well, I'm better. I'm better than that. Did it work out with her in the end?
Yeah, it has yet to be seen. I'm not really in the dating pool right now in a significant way.
It didn't work out. It didn't because you still be dating her. Come on, sweetheart. I know.
Now, just reading some comments. Stacy says it's immaturity. A conversation is simple. Cece, Timmery, who you love, says Cece speaks facts. Stacy says, I just love Cece. Look, I
love you guys too. Thank you. So yeah.
And don't forget, right? I've had these situations too with several people. So I'm not really just talking about one person, right? This happens a lot. I'll say a couple of things about it. I'll say one is I really do try to be understanding, especially because I am friends with so many women. I hear of the nasty things that men do and say. I hear of the fears that they have. I hear these things and I think to myself, well, maybe this person had some sort of fear creep in. Maybe there was an anxiety that crept in. Maybe, something happened. So I at least gave her the benefit of the doubt and had the conversation. It's tough, but I've had that situation where it hasn't happened. So I had another situation recently where we were supposed to, I said to this woman, I said, we're going to go to a show tonight. I said, pick hand A or B. She said B. Okay, great. B was a show. I said, all right, so we're going to see Potted Potter on the Strip, which is a great Harry Potter show on the Las Vegas Strip. And then we'll go out to dinner or something like that. Oh, cool. That's exciting. Whatever. Awesome. Cool. Get the tickets. Everything's cool. She's supposed to come to my house. We were going to have like a drink before and then go. Doesn't show up at 6. Says she needs a half an hour. Okay. Doesn't show up at 7. The show's at 8. 7:15, 7:30, not showing up. So now I'm texting because now I'm going to lose out on these tickets. She's, oh, shoot. And I said, well, we're going to miss the show. She goes, oh, I'm so sorry. So at least she's communicating, but it's after me asking 3 and 4 times, where the heck are you?
So finally, what's her excuse for not?
Some sort of family drama she had, and her family wasn't letting her out of the house because they felt like she should be spending time with them. It was a vacation, whatever. She was from out of town, but we knew each other. Okay, so all this happens. So she said, hey, do you mind if we just hang out at your place? And to me, I'm all about that. Like, and you can bet your bottom dollar. Like, if you come over, like, I'm not trying to Netflix and chill. Like, I'll order dinner. We'll pop in a movie. I will watch the movie. Look, if there's some snuggling, there's some snuggling, right? But that's about it. I said, okay, cool. That sounds like a great night. So she, I say, I'll order food. So now I order some really good pizza because I don't eat carbs. So I order very expensive cauliflower crust pizza. It's like $45 for a couple of pies. Okay, cool. So lost the money on the tickets. Now the pizza's on the way. All right. I say, what's going on? So Christy says, hello from PA. Love it. So now the pizza's on the way. I say, the pizza will be here at blah, blah, blah time. Oh, okay. I'll try to make it. I'm leaving. Okay. Doesn't show up. Pizza's here. Pizza's cold, whatever. So finally I say, look, I'm going to go to bed. You know what I'm saying? Like I got work the next morning. It's a Friday night. I work Saturdays. I'm going to go to bed. I'm so sorry. You should go to bed, blah, blah, blah. Well, so I'm like, so I go, really though? Like, really? I said, I did all this stuff. So she's like, so then she goes, fine, I'm just going to come late and I'm going to try to make it. So that's her commitment. I'm going to come late. She doesn't show up at all, doesn't message, doesn't answer my messages. So my message to her was, if you ever want to speak to me again, you're going to Venmo me for the tickets and the takeout that I just wasted my money on. And then I'll consider speaking to you again, to which, of course, she didn't do because I was a little aggressive. But that to me is how I should approach it, because I put a lot of effort into it. I wasn't Netflix and chilling. I didn't put out a bowl of chips. You know what I mean? Like, I was ready to roll. So that
call
was
me next time. I'll come. No, I'm just
you
kidding.
you like low carb
Get in a
pizza?
flight, I'll go there, Now, I think you do the right thing by what you said to her. I definitely wouldn't have talked to her after that, because again, you don't want someone like that in your life. And I know that she might have had other commitments because she was here traveling or whatever, and things came up, but she could have just been more straight up about it and said, listen,
Because you
it's
know what?
pressuring me. I don't think I'm going to make it. I'm sorry. Can you sell the tickets or,
Yeah. And I'll be honest, I'm transitioning positions right now. So money is a little tight, but whatever. I'm not dying. Right.
But that's rude. It's rude though.
It's
being polite. I mean, it's having manners. Yeah.
It is.
It has no manners. That's no manners.
That was my problem. So Stacy says she doesn't value. Mademoiselle says that's why you should come to Montreal. Well, Mademoiselle, I thought you were taking a US tour. Here's my issue with the situation. And, I said to this person, and look, I effectively communicated it, but at the same time, it's not her responsibility either. But here's what I said to them. I said, I have work the next morning. Not her problem, but I did communicate that. I said, so I'd like to spend some significant time with you. I actually said, physical intimacy is not really my concern tonight. My concern tonight is I'd like to speak to you. I'd like to get to know you, right? And so I said, let's try to get together earlier because I'm going to be tired tonight. I have to wake up in the morning. I wake up, I go to the gym, and I go to work. Again, not her problem, not her responsibility. But here's where I thought there was a breakdown in communication. I didn't so much care about the dinner and the show that I paid for that didn't happen. What I cared about was the time. I reserved my Friday night, right? And for me, I'm a super social person. So Friday night and Saturday night, those are my nights to be with my people, right? Wherever it is. I'm with my guys, I'm with a date, maybe I'm with family, whatever it is, I'm with my stuff, right? And so to take my Friday night away and not say at 4 p.m., 5 p.m., hey, you know what? Don't buy those tickets or whatever, because I don't know if it's going to happen tonight. I've got to spend some time with family. That's all it takes. Because then I can say, hey, you know what? What's going on Saturday? I can pick up those tickets on Saturday, or let's do Sunday brunch or whatever.
I'm saying she wasn't polite. She didn't have your interest at heart. So these women, have you met them before? Or is this the first time you're meeting them?
That person, both times I was ghosted, that was it would have been a first encounter.
Okay, so I think the problem is that you're asking him to come to your house or some sort of seclusion too quickly, and they don't feel. And even though they're not saying it, but I bet you anything, it's a little bit of a uncertainty about going to somebody's house, because women know that if a guy's asking you to go to their house and they're interested in you, that they're hoping that it could lead into other things, and they don't want to. Sometimes they just don't want to go there. Not that they're not interested, but they just don't want to be into that position, and so they just don't really want to. And if you're doing it I think if you're doing it for the first date, I think you're asking too much, and maybe that's why you're getting ghosted. Because I probably would. I would be straight up and tell you I'm not going to your house, and we would have to meet at the theater.
Right. They suggested it actually said, not only do I want to come spend time with you, but hey, is it okay if I sleep over so that I don't have to leave late at night and drive? I said, yeah, of course. And again, you don't know me from a hole in the wall, but I'm going to keep my hands to myself. Right. So,
but they don't know that. They don't know that. And I've been on dates where the guys have said that, and they haven't done that. They were too aggressive, which I didn't go out with them again. So, I mean, it's like if you break that trust, that type of thing, you only get one shot at it. And I just personally, if you're asking my opinion, which I will always tell you my opinion anyhow, I just think you're asking for too intimate too quickly. Yeah, that's
fair. So a couple of comments here I want to read real quick. It's about what you want. Stacy says a person of integrity honors their word. I do appreciate that, and I agree with you. Mademoiselle says she can't come to the U.S. because her surgery put it on hold. That's I get that. Communication is important from Christy. Exactly, says Renee. Ivy, I thought it was an exclusive problem to Brazilian guys to disappear and act like it was normal. No, that's a worldwide thing. Stacy says, I agree with her to a point, but women who are emotionally mature will be direct. Yeah, I agree with that. Mademoiselle, I have a huge filter before I get to the point of meeting someone. Huge filter? Maybe explain that. Christy says, I usually go to a public place on a first date if it's online dating. Yeah, and that's what I do too.
What you could have said is you could have said, listen, I'm going to get the tickets and I'll meet you in front of, the thing, the theater or something like that. Or, do you feel comfortable with whatever? You got to ask those questions, but I just think that it's too early. I wouldn't have went to your house. I wouldn't have met you.
I agree. I didn't suggest it.
With the trouble, then maybe I wouldn't even go if it was going to be like that, or take an Uber or something.
Right. Are we taking a break? Do we have commercials loaded?
We do have a commercial, but it's like 35. We go ahead and just we'll just
skip it. Yeah, so on that note, so Moni said real quick, have you guys heard of a zero date? A zero date. What's zero date, Moni? Have you heard of zero date? What is that?
Well, I think that's what you got. You got a zero date.
Real quick, and then after we answer this, Moni, we're gonna shut down. I don't know
what a zero date is, other than she doesn't show up, and that's a zero date.
Zero date. Zero date means the date of issue of letter of intent or issue of work order. No, that can't be it.
No.
Term used to describe. Okay. Term used to describe a pre-date meeting between two people considering a first date. This event is an informal encounter. Is that what basically little texting and 1 hour drink meeting? That's cool. That's kind of what you do, right, Cece?
Yeah. I do you do a meet and greet type. I call it meet and greet. And you just, and it's short. You don't anticipate it to last. Now I have had dates like that where it did last. You met them and it did last a long time, but I didn't go to their house. I wouldn't go to their house, but it's and you feel comfortable. Then you start feeling comfortable with someone when you start going out with them, because it's more than just going to their house. You're also, if you're going to go out with them and they're going to pick you up, then they know where you live. They know you're in their vehicle. There's a sense of trust you're building there in a relationship. And you got to allow that time to happen. So I think that's might be why you're getting ghosted.
Could be. Check our profile links if you want to keep watching. By the way, TikTok, or just search us. Just go to YouTube. Just YouTube WGSN ghosting, and you'll find us.
Yeah, WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, and and we're doing the ghosting, and I think YouTube, it brings right up the ghosting because we're on the platform there. Live. Right, we're on live. So what else now about the ghosting thing? So I think it is hurtful as you're in a relationship if they all of a sudden just drop off and do nothing. I
think so too.
I think that would be but I think it's more than just ghosting. I think it's just being rude and not having the presence of just manners. You don't treat people like that. And the thing is if you treat people like that, you don't want them in your life, right? So be thankful for whatever color someone shows you. Be thankful that they're showing you as quickly in the relationship as possible.
Yes, no, I agree with that. I totally agree. So I want to kind of see what the
guy. You're a great guy. You'll find the right one. You will.
Well, and I also want to make sure that this isn't a personal gripe session, right? But let's talk a bit about what the experts say. So I know that I sent you those articles pretty late.
I didn't even see them. I'm sorry.
Didn't see them, right? No, that's okay.
I've been swamped. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, no, don't worry about it. So here's
I worked all day and hardly went on my emails.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So here's what the experts say. There's this great pie chart. I would love to show everybody. Let's see, female ghosting habits. 27% of women who have been ghosted, 24% of women who have ghosted, 23% of women who have not experienced ghosting in any capacity, 6% of women have both ghosted and been ghosted. So it's about split a quarter by quarter, right? A quarter of women have done both, a quarter of women have been ghosted, a quarter of women have ghosted, and then about a quarter of women have not ghosted in any capacity. Here's where the numbers get a little staggering, okay? 37% of men have not experienced ghosting in any capacity. Okay. 14% of men have been ghosted. 17% of men who have ghosted. 34% of men who have both ghosted and been ghosted. So it seems to me like men kind of have the upper hand when it comes to ghosting. They seem to ghost more and be less. You would agree?
No, I think they do, because I think when it comes to dating, on that initial first date, it's the women have to step back and allow the man to drive a little bit. They're the drivers in asking you out, and all of those kind of things. And so now we are the ones that say yes or no, of what we're going to do. But I feel in order to allow the man should be the one that's initiating. He needs to be. Now, I think we do as women contact sometimes online or whatever, a little playful interest. But if they don't step up and do something about it, yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Mm-hmm. That's fair. A couple other things that I thought were very interested. Let's see. According to a study on preferred relationship ending strategies conducted in the 70s, which is not at all, when one person ends a relationship through avoidance, it's likely to trigger more anger and hurt for the recipient. They say it's still relevant to this date because that feeling is the same. So when somebody ends the relationship without communicating, it tends to trigger anger, which is very interesting.
Yeah, because it's rejection. It's you're feeling rejection, and we feel rejection. We don't like it.
Right.
Like the time the guy did it to me, I was like, I don't like this. I didn't like that feeling. It's like, wait a minute, what happened? So just tell me.
I think it makes you want them a little bit more.
You think because of it, you would want them more?
Yeah, somebody goes to you.
I don't think. Well, I think sometimes people might feel like, well, I'm gonna, show them or something like that, but not me. I'd be like, no, I'm so glad I know who you are now.
Right. That's fair.
Yeah. But I will tell you, let me share something with you that maybe might be the thing is when I met my ex-husband, my office had, now this is back in the days before we had cell phones and stuff, but I had given him my phone number. I might have shared this with you before, but I had given him my phone number and I accidentally gave him the wrong number because it was my office number. We had moved, I transposed the numbers. So anyhow, he knew that I was working in the legal field, what I did. And, our town is relatively small. And so he got ticked off. He thought I was standing him up, that I didn't want to talk to him. So he went around and called all these law offices, right? And my girlfriends all worked at them. And so they start calling me saying, this guy's trying to find you. Da, da, da. And so then they gave me, can we give him your number? So he gave me the number. And then he called me and I realized then that he was going to tell me off. And I realized then that I had given him the wrong number. So I was apologetic. I said, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. And then he was fine. But now that I look back on it, for him to be so ticked off to follow me and to stalk me and do all of that, it should have been a sign for me to say, whoa, wait, back up, girl. And I didn't do that. So people do get mad, I guess, and they're gonna, I'm gonna tell them or whatever. But what good is that gonna be, Right.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. So New York Times and the Huffington Post both kind of say it triggers a lot of anger, and there are a number of ways that you can get over ghosting. I don't know. I don't love the New York Times article on how to get over it. How would you get over ghosting?
Well, I don't really get offended. I just move on. It's like I just really feel like they're not the right person for me if they do something like that, because I'm really looking for a quality person in my life. Yeah. I really want good, wholesome individuals in my life. And if someone does something like that, they couldn't even be a friend. They couldn't be, to me, they're chopped liver. I just wouldn't, so that's why I don't get so offended. It's like, if you don't get the value of what I am, who I am, and what I could bring to the table, then you're not the right one.
I think that's fair. Fair. There are a couple of takeaways from the New York Times article that I think are valuable, though.
Okay.
They say different levels of ghosting, which is kind of what we spoke about in the beginning. Wendy Walsh, a psych professor named one of the Times 2017 People of the Year for her whistleblowing that helped promote the Me Too movement. She says the pace of modern life makes it hard enough to maintain real life relationships. So there are different levels of ghosting, right? So growing apart can be just nature's evolution, ditto for lovers. But, there are other ways that ghosting occurs. It could be, that you just kind of lose touch. It could be that slow ghost. It could be a ghost before the meeting. It could be a ghost after the meeting. So I do think before we talk about ghosting in any capacity, we should definitely really designate which kind of ghosting we're referring to. And then the second thing they say, and we could touch on this too, ghosting, I like this. Ghosting has a lot to do with someone's comfort level and how they deal with their emotions. A lot of people anticipate that talking about how they feel is going to be a confrontation. So that's what we discussed, right? I feel as though by effectively communicating this, I'm gonna be put in a situation where I need to be confrontational. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's probably what it is. And a lot of times I feel it's more, why should you, if you're doing something like, for instance, the person that ended up getting laid or had to work at work, sure, then my question, what I would be thinking is if she had that kind of reaction that she was afraid you were going to get mad at her, then she's got some definite stuff in her past. Because obviously if you didn't show up on time, she's gotten in trouble, so to speak. And so she's feeling that. So that, that's my takeaway from her on that. But, I do know that sometimes when you're in relationships, like you've dated somebody for a while and things aren't really going right. And then next thing you see, they're not calling you every day. They're calling you every other day, every 3 days, and that's kind of a form of slow ghosting, right? They're not letting you know what's happening in their lives. They're moving on. And so there's the separation that's starting to happen. And when that happens, it is hurtful because one party is always giving more than the other party is. And so then you do have hurt feelings with that. But it sounds like to me that these women that you experienced, they're just not the level. They're not emotionally at the level that you are.
Level. It could be. I always try, like I said, I try to keep people.
They're very nice women. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure they're very nice, beautiful, good at their job, but they're just emotionally not ready for you. And you're ready. Right. You're ready for a relationship.
Right. Could be. Yeah. Definitely could be. I know we have to close out. I want to leave on this kind of this thought process though. When is it okay to ghost? Here's what I thought when brainstorming before the show. Here are the situations, in my opinion, just my opinion, Cece, when it's okay to ghost. If there's abuse, if there's abuse happening, right? If somebody says something that makes you feel uncomfortable to the point where you don't think it would be you don't even think it's a good idea to have that conversation because you think it might be confrontational. Somebody maybe is too sexual, somebody's vulgar, they say something racist, they say something that doesn't vibe with you. Inappropriateness, kind of that same thing, right? They're pushing the sex button too quick, right? There's a feeling maybe of danger, right? And then a friend of mine brought this one up, a feeling of entrapment, a feeling as though by having this communication, you may feel obligated to meet with this person or have a very uncomfortable conversation that is going to trigger something in you. Do you think I've left anything out, or do you think I've added something that shouldn't be on there? What are your thoughts?
No, I think that's good. And I tend to wonder a little bit about the entrapment. Maybe what the women were feeling was a little bit of that entrapment because they didn't know you and they're going to meet you at a house. You're going to be picking them up. Maybe they felt a little bit uncomfortable with that. So but I do agree. I think if you don't feel comfortable, if you feel like you're in danger, if you feel, you get your feelings that when something's off balance, then I think then it is a really good time to step away. If you think that they're going to step forward and be aggressive with you because you are stepping back, then ghost them. If that's what you need to do. Right. You need to think of yourself first. You have to always be protected and think of yourself first.
Absolutely. For sure.
This
So
is a
super
cool
important.
subject. When I first saw it, I thought, oh, geez, when am I going to talk about this old lady talk about ghosting?
That's funny. On that note, we want to thank all the folks who commented. You are watching WGSN, but you're also watching the Going Bold Network. We want to thank you for your comments. Thank you for your engagement. My name's Dr. Christopher Sloot.
And I'm Cece Shatz.
Awesome. And we want to thank you so much for watching our show on ghosting. Stay tuned. Hang out with us for the next show. The next show is going to be Cece behind the scenes and myself in the front line. We're going to talk a bit about going on a solo date and how you should date yourself. So I want to thank you so much for joining the boy and girl thing, and have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.